Okay, so in this video we're just going to be focusing on how to plot scatter graphs. So it's literally the first step that you're going to need for whenever you have these sorts of questions. You will need some square paper for this topic. So I know most people have them in their maths books, but if you don't, you can find some online. It doesn't matter how big it is, like the squares, as long as you've got squares to help you draw the lines and the graphs. So what you'll be given is you'll be given a table like this, where you have these two things here which are called variables. So I've written here what we normally use scatter graphs for. So scatter graphs are normally where we can draw a graph to see if there is a connection between two variables. So in this case, the two variables are, is there a link between the rainfall and the number of umbrellas sold? Okay, so the top ones I always do on the x-axis, which is the bottom one, and then I always do the bottom one to be the y-axis. But if I'm honest, it doesn't really make a difference which ones you've got on the top and the bottom, or the x and the y-axis. It's your decision. Okay, so I've already pre-done the graphs just to help us out. Okay, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit on the graph that we're going to be focusing on. Okay, so the numbers that are on here are linked together. So what we're going to do is we're going to be plotting these 2 points together. So if we look at the graph, I've got on the x-axis here, we've got the rainfall, and then on the y-axis is the umbrellas sold. Okay, so I'm going to get a pen. Now when you do this, the easiest way is to draw little crosses. So the first point is the rainfall is 3 and the umbrellas sold was 1. So we're going to go 3 across the x-axis, which is along here, and then we're going to go 1 up on the y-axis. Now obviously 1 is going to be quite tight, because if you can look at my axes, I've gone up in 5s, okay, rather than 1s, just because I know the highest one's 47. And I'm not going to be able to do, I haven't got 47 squares up on my piece of paper, so I've gone up in 5s instead. Okay, so when we plot it, we've just got to do the best we can. Okay, so we've got 3 going across and then 1 going up. And I'm just going to draw a little cross like that. Okay, so that's my first one done. The next one here, 2 and 10. So the rainfall was 2. And then the sales of the umbrellas was 10, so I'm going to go 2 across the bottom and 10 high. Okay, so 2 across the bottom and 10 high. And again, I'm just going to put a little cross there. Okay, the next one, so we've got 4 and 25. Again, it does get quite repetitive. So 4 across and 25 high, which is there. Okay, and you just carry on with that over and over again. Okay, I'm going to put this here a little bit so you can see both of them. Well, maybe not. Next one is 0, 0, so that's just going to be in the corner. Then it's 0 and 1, so 0 means you don't go any across, but then you're going to go 1 up, so very close together. Then it's 5 and 32, so 5 across and 32 high, about there. Okay, so I'm up to here now. The next one, 6 and 47. 6 and 47 is about there. Next one is 1 and 8. So 1 across and 8 high. And the last one, 1 across and 15 high. Okay, so that's all my points plotted. Now you don't need to join them up or anything like that. So if you've done stuff like frequency polygons, normally we would try and connect them all together, but we don't, we just leave it like that. Okay, in future videos I will be doing about correlation and lines of best fit, but at the moment we just want to practice being able to plot them. Okay, so the next one, I'll just show you the graph, the table first. So we've got the tables here, we've got the age and the reaction time, so we need to see if there is a link between those two by plotting on a scatter graph. Okay, so we're starting at 50 and we go up to 60 years old. I'm just going to fill that in. Okay, and their reaction times go from 175 milliseconds up to 240. Now, on my graph, okay, if you look on my graph here, I've not started at 0, okay, on either of them. One, because there's no point, because if looking at the graph, the table, there isn't any ones that are near to 0. So what I've done is, to be able to do that, I've added this little squiggle. It looks a bit like a heartbeat. If you've ever seen like the heartbeat on a machine, it's a bit like that. So it's just like a little zigzag, and you just add that on so that you don't need to start at 0, okay, which is really handy. So again, on the table I had age at the top, so I've got age along the bottom here, and then reaction times on the bottom, so I've done that on the y-axis there. Okay, so for the first one, we've got 15 for the number of years, and then reaction time for that person was 175. So we're going to go 15 along the bottom, which is here, and then 75 up. Okay, this one will be a little bit easier, because if you look, I've gone up in tens, but I've left 2 spaces in between them. Okay, that's another thing. If you are drawing your own graphs, make sure that they're all spaced evenly. Okay, so if you look, I've got 2 squares in between each of my numbers. Okay, I don't have one that's 2, one that's 1, one that's 3. Okay, so it's really important that you do keep it the same. Okay, the next one, we've got 25 and 178. So 25 and then 178 would be about there. And again, just a little cross. Next one, so we've got 30 years old and 182. So we're going 30 across, and 182 is about there. Okay. Number 4, 35 years and 179. So 35, 179, roughly there, slightly higher than that one. Okay, next one, so we've got 40 years old and 195. So 40 and 195 would be there, so we've gone up a little bit. Okay, 45 and 190. Okay, it's just making sure that you keep the pairs together. Okay, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, next one is 50 and 215. 215, which is there. And the last one, 60 and 240. Okay, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And that's your graph completely finished.